This is Dave Pellegrinelli, licensed general building contractor at Secure Builders. And we're going to talk today about what general contractors do and what the industry is feeling as far as changes and adaptations. This article from the BBC is talking about technology is not transforming building. Robots can't yet construct a building. And I had a really good picture here of some people lifting up the wall of a building. And if you took a worker from a 1920s construction site and transported them to a present day project, they wouldn't be surprised what they saw. That's the headline, which is true. Most of the building procedures and construction skills are about the same. They might see some power tools and they might see some different, more modern versions of hammers and lumber and boards, but basically it's the same thing. And that's because building has not yet become technical or technological for that matter. General contractors are the key to having structures be put together from a blueprint, from an architectural drawing, based on the client. So if you're looking to put on an addition, put on a new building, remodel, or to do tenant improvements in a commercial property, the general contractor is going to be the one that takes all the plans, takes all the input from the client, make sure that it passes code and building permits, make sure they coordinate with all the subcontractors, because you need a lot of specialized skills to put together a job. You need plumbers and framers and electricians and insulation, maybe roofers. There's dozens of subcontractor skill sets that go into a build project. You have to source the lumber and materials. And that's what the general contractor does. The general contracting company may do some of the work. They may do some of the framing and siding and painting, who knows. But it's more important that they coordinate the job. They're like a big project manager. And a good general contractor can be worth its weight in gold because they're going to be the one that creates the excellence on that work site and creates the excellence so it doesn't go past budget. It doesn't go past the time that's needed for that job to be done. So if you're working on planning for a larger project, even before you hire the general contractor, start to think about what your strategy is. What are the important factors? And use that as a decision-making process before you even hire the GC, because different general contractors may have different skills themselves. They may have different expertise. Some may be better at residential, some at commercial, some at single-story buildings, some at multi-story buildings. So you want to get a sense for what that general contractor is more skilled. Your video will be back in 8 seconds. In the meantime, remember, you have access to live one-on-one consultation, undivided attention of a licensed certified expert in this subject and many others. We want to listen to your story. We want to hear your questions and give you expert advisement of your options. We want to tell you what we know about your situation and what options you have. Now back to your video. Skilled and expert at. Another example is many general contractors like to do the excavation part, digging out the foundation, putting in the footings. Some don't do that at all. So if your project is excavation heavy, you want to make sure your GC is familiar with that so they're not subbing that out. They're not subbing out the things that are heavy in your project, which could add to the cost. You do want to get some bids. You don't want to just hire the first person that you find. But on the other hand, you don't want to get too many bids. If you're putting it out for 7, 8 bids for a medium-sized project, you run the risk of finding that one bidder that bids too low just to try to, throw a monkey wrench into gears. They can't finish the job. You also throw it into the wrench of other contractors finding out you're bidding it all over town, so they're not going to take you seriously. 2 or 3 is sometimes a sweet spot number, depending upon what the market is in your area. Of course, if you don't feel like the 2 or 3 you talk to are a good fit for you, then you can reach beyond that. But you should do that first. You should talk to the contractors before you get bids and find out who's a good fit. Find out which ones communicate well with you, which ones are curious about your project. Maybe if they come out and scope out the job and look at it, put eyeballs on it, walk the lot with you before they even bid, that tells you they're interested in hands-on with the customer. They may not be able to do that with every bid because they may have 20 bids for every job, and they may not want to take time that they're not getting paid for away from paying clients. But the more that you get that customer service from the general contractor, the better. Also, make sure they're properly insured and bonded and licensed. Make sure none of those are expired. You can double check that. We have a division that's a licensed private investigative agency. We can check that out for you. We also have a division that's a licensed commercial insurance broker. So we can also answer questions about insurance. If you do need to discuss with an expert any of these subjects for a consultation, you can click the link below, arrange to ask any questions you want live one-on-one with a licensed contractor, a licensed investigator, a licensed insurance company, and even surety bonds. But make sure that you treat the construction project as a serious endeavor, because it's going to cost you tens, if not hundreds of thousands. And you want to make sure you get the right kind of professional to complete that job so it comes out the way you want and you don't have to go back later and fix problems.